end. Here it comes. He struck him out, and Morris has a no-hitter.
There's a drive to left. That one is long gone.
You don't want to walk you.
Swings as a long drive to right, and it is a home run for Gibson. A 3-run homer. The Tigers take it 8-4.
There's a long drive all the left down the line. If it stays there, it's gone. If they fair ball, hits the facing of the upper deck. Home run number 50 for central fielder.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV and the Kavana Broadcast Network. It's been a week. We were off. We had some things going on, but we have some great time. That just gives us more time to more Tiger information to go through, right, Cole?
Yeah, that's it. More Tiger stuff. Great.
That's what we like to talk about,
Yep.
right? Your favorite team?
It's their season.
It's your season.
It's their season.
37-20.
17 games over 500?
Yeah. And winners of the last four, they swept the Giants and won the last game out of that Guardian series.
Yeah.
You know, they were due for a down series against the Guardians.
No. I knew you were going to say that. I know.
Why?
No, they weren't.
What do you mean they weren't?
They can't beat the Guardian.
I don't know about that, man.
They're in their heads. I think, honestly,
You think that's what it is?
I think it's just one of those teams like Ali Norton.
No, I don't know. I don't agree
But not
with
to that extent. They just can't beat the Guardians right now. And I knew everybody's going to say that. They were like, they didn't say anything about the 3 losses, but they said something about Scooble's dominance in the 4th game.
Well, he's been absolutely amazing.
That's what he does.
He's been absolutely.
Yeah.
And listen, we've talked about
Nobody
it
can hit
before.
him.
Flaherty, he's pitching well, but the problem is they don't score any runs for him. You know, other than last night he pitched, and they got him 3 runs.
He looked good last night.
Yeah, but he has been pitching well. He's been striking people out, and they need another bat.
He's a good number 2. So that's what I'm saying. This is
Is this the best pitching combo they've had since what? Morris Petrie?
no. You remember Verlander, Scherzer,
Okay.
and Scooble tops everybody.
But do you consider
But the
was
second
Scherzer
one-
the pit? Was Scherzer didn't really have that mystique to him until after
He's
he
better than
left
Flaherty.
here.
He's better than Flaherty. He was
Well,
better than
now,
Flaherty.
but would you have said that when he was pitching here?
I think so.
You think so?
I see what you're saying.
Because he didn't end up winning.
Yeah.
Really doing.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, he
see what you're
did stuff here. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
at the end, and then at the end, really, because it was, whispers that him and JV weren't on the best of terms because
Yeah.
those pitching egos. But yeah, I like Scherzer and Verlander, but it's up to Flaherty.
Yeah.
It's up to Flaherty. If he can stay consistent, the pitching is not the issue. What's going to do the Tigers in is the hitting. It just hasn't yet.
Well, I agree with you on that. Just because
It's going to do them in.
I still think they need another bat.
Yeah. They need another bat.
Veerling went back on the IL.
Torque is cooling off. Torque is cooling off. He's back down to 230.
Javi's cooling off.
You knew that was going to happen.
I mean, so they're due for some of these guys to cool off.
Yeah. But the only difference about Torque cooling off is that the home runs are still meaningful.
True.
So I'll take that.
Parker Meadows should be back soon. They need that bat. But hey, Wenzel Perez came back and hit a home run on his first at bat. So it's nice to see that. The pitching is what's been winning the games for him.
Pitching.
Pitching
Always beats good hitting for a while. For like if you got Scooble, he's going to beat you. But eventually, even they need a little bit more because Cleveland last year got to Scooble.
right.
You know what I mean? So at some point,
Well, I mean, when you look at the Cleveland series, they score in the first game. They didn't score anything.
Nope.
They lost 7-0. Only scored one. Lost to the Guardians 3-1. Lost 7-5. They scored
They didn't score any runs.
11 runs in that total series.
Yeah.
I like it how they kind of bounce back, though. They won that last game, and then they swept the Giants. Who the Giants, they're a decent team.
Giants are decent. Yep. Go ahead.
When you look at it, the National League, they're third, but they're only 3 games out.
Yeah.
31-25.
Yeah.
And they also Logan Webb had a great game against the Tigers the other day, and basically it was just the Tigers got the best out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 2 games 3-1. That was the last 2. Logan Webb, he had 6 innings, only gave up 7 hits, and he struck out 10. So I mean, they're winning the games that, and it's not like, when you look at it, they're doing the things that they need to do to win, and it doesn't always look pretty.
Nope.
But they're getting Hinch is kind of the MVP here.
No, Hinch is the smartest. He's the smartest guy in the room. So I don't want to hear about the Astros and all that stuff either. Hinch is just dope. He's dope. You got, like I said, you have 2 stars. Skubal and Hinch, that's it, and everything is going well for them. Everything is falling in the right place. But I see it from a baseball side. Like I see it from a baseball side. Like I think Wilbon was on the other day saying, basketball heads see it from a basketball side, where they see where Kobe's better than LeBron. They look at it. They don't look at it as the NBA pushing LeBron to be because it's a marketing. They see the core, the proof, the evidence. That's what I see with the Tigers. I see the Tigers having a monster as an ace. That's why I don't think the Cleveland series was about. I don't think that he's going to win. You got to win the other 3.
To me, I think Cleveland has more firepower.
They do. They do. That's why these announcers have to stop saying the Tigers are the best team in baseball. You're setting yourself up for failure. They're not the best team in baseball. The best team in baseball is the Dodgers. They swept you. Cleveland beat the Dodgers the other night. You can't beat Cleveland. You're the best team at doing what you're doing, and you have the best record. It doesn't necessarily make you the best team. They need more.
Right.
At the end of the day, I think they're going to need more. Hinch and Skubal are going to be there. That Hinch is already out thinking
right.
for the next series. He's already ahead of you. He knows what he's doing. And Skubal, he's unhittable, almost. So, Flaherty, boom, step up. He does. If he does, that's good. The bullpen is good, solid. But I see it as just more, they need more to actually finish how they want to finish. And now it's World Series. I don't think it's World Series, but people are thinking that. People think that it's the World Series that they need to get to.
I think it's too early
and they can
to
beat,
say something like that.
Now, the Tigers can beat any team in baseball, but they need to beat the teams in baseball when it matters. That's the thing. Get the cushion. You got the cushion. Obviously, you're going to be in the playoffs. You might win. I still think Cleveland's going to win the North.
Okay.
I mean, the Central. Central. You got Kansas City coming in. This is a big one.
Oh, Kansas. Well, they got to go to Kansas City.
They got to go. I'm sorry. They did. They beat Kansas City here. They got to go to Kansas City.
And Kansas City's playing well.
They are.
And Bobby Witt Jr. is a great shortstop. I seen some pretty good plays from him on the highlight reel on ESPN.
And he a Tiger killer.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good series, though.
Well,
Because the Tigers are doing what they're supposed to do. Catch, run, throw.
Speaking of pitchers, I guess they were saying some concerns over Jackson Jobe the other night. Even though he picked up the win, I had read an article, I believe it was might have been the Detroit News, that said that he was a tick down on his pitches.
Analytics.
And then he only threw 4.2 innings and gave up 7 hits, 3 earned, walked 3, struck out 4. As I'm looking here, they did pull out that win. 4-3. You don't want to see anybody go down, but is it kind of concerning maybe that they were saying that he was down a little bit on his fastball, like a whole mile per hour down?
That's a
or
lot.
could have been just the weather.
Could have been.
It's been cold. It's
Could have
been colder here.
Could have been. When the heat rises, when it gets warmer, I think he'll be electric.
Yeah, he's 4-1 on the season.
Yeah.
4.22 ERA.
Could be a little arm fatigue.
Yeah, it's still early, and this is his first season in the bigs.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how tough this is.
Yeah.
Like to pitch in a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is?
Yeah.
I don't think people, and the wear and tear on an arm.
Sure.
So yeah, every night out is not going to be 100. Even Nolan Ryan, even Chapman sometimes it's not. It's a human body.
And you seen how effective he was when he was here. He was still throwing high 90s, and
Exactly.
they got to him.
Just learn how to pitch.
Yeah.
That's all Job's deal is. A la Tanana. Tanana knew how to pitch.
Right.
Just learn how to pitch. And he's still young. You got to figure that out. A lot of young guys like to overthrow and,
Right.
I'm going to get you with this fastball. Yeah, maybe just a little fatigue. I'm not worried. He's a good kid. He's going to be all right.
I
Just learn
think
how
the
to
biggest surprise to me is Kiter Montero. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like that guy that's, that fifth starter or sixth starter, and he's giving them the quality innings that they need.
Yeah.
He's winning ball games. He's 2-1.
Pitching is there.
So he started 5, and when Reese has gone down, he stepped up. He stepped up when Mize was out. Mm-hmm. Mize is back. He's at 6-1, pitching well. So I just feel like they need another. Hinch is giving them what they need, and like I said, we've talked about this before. It's a plug and play kind of a deal. So, Hinch is doing his best in that plug and play. Mm-hmm. But I think there comes a time where you're still going to need another bat, and I don't see them bring. I don't think there's anybody in AAA that they could bring up to fill that. So it makes you wonder how heavy they'll be, how actively heavy they'll be come trade deadline. I mean, and we're still talking like what? We're end of May now, so we're not even in the hot summer of June, July, and August.
It was supposed to be hot. It's May, the Memorial Day.
Right.
Shout out to Memorial Day too. But listen, I think the Tigers think they can win with what they have. I would make a big bat move if I could. It has to make sense. I don't know.
I don't think mortgaging the future.
No.
Like getting rid of a Max Clark.
No. They like.
I just don't think that would. That to me that makes sense.
They like this team.
And listen. Look how long it took the Trammell, Parrish, and Whitaker to kind of get rolling.
77 to.
Yeah. I just think trading away young pieces to get that bat. I mean, now if they could get that bat for a song, maybe like he's on his last year of a deal and it's not going to cost you much.
Right. Or rental.
Yeah, a rental, maybe. But I mean, you really can't say, well, they really need something right now. Well, some people can say that. Some people won't.
Yeah.
Well, they're winning. They got the best, one of the best records in baseball.
They got the best, yeah. So, that's the thing. Do you ride that out, or do you, like I said, do you look inside the window, and you know where you're weak at? The Tigers are a team. That's what they are. They have each other's back. They're a team.
Right.
They get it. You never know who's going to get you.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Judge is going to get you.
Right.
You don't know who's going to get you with these guys. So that's the beauty of their team. That's who they are. And it's the whole The Tigers. Why is it? Why, that's another thing too. Why are we blue collar?
Got some dance in here today.
Yeah. Why is Detroit blue collar? They're the best. They got the best record in baseball. They're white collar. Why they just got to just grab the lunch? Why is blue collar?
But I'm going to be
grab
honest
the
with
lunch
you,
pail,
though.
go to work.
Why do you think though? Yeah,
They're white collar.
judges.
White
The
collar
guy.
people get work done.
But you look at a guy like Juan Soto that just signed a big time deal, and he's
not happy in New York.
He's not playing well at all.
He's not happy over there.
And then I was just thinking this the other day. I'm kind of glad we didn't sign Bregman. He's on the IL.
Well, he's not. Well, he didn't want to be here. His man was here, and he still didn't want to come. Hinch is his dude.
Right. So
that's a good deal.
I'm kind of glad that they didn't go.
Yeah.
I guess it's a coin toss because you never know. Look at how many times they failed when they went out and signed Zimmerman, and he was a complete bust.
Yeah, it's all a gamble.
Or even the latest with what's his name? The Japanese pitcher that they just Maeda. Kenta Maeda.
Yeah.
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 I just feel like, I like how Harris is kind of making do, not really making the huge decisions in regards to bringing in a huge bat or something, a huge star player. But isn't it funny, though, when you look at it, all of the Detroit teams are kind of doing the same thing. The Lions, they'd rather have a team player than a superstar. The Pistons, everybody's saying, oh, they need to bring in this guy and that guy, but I think they need to just kind of sit with what they have, and see what they got. Give them another year to gel. I think you're going to find out where they are if they stay with what they have and not trade away these young pieces. That's what I don't want to see the Tigers do. I don't want to see the Pistons do the same thing just to get one guy, and you've had to trade away 2 or 3 of your young players that are playing good now. I mean, because you could have beat the Knicks.
Should have beat them.
Yeah.
Just mistakes.
So I mean, those could be, those are fixable. I think those guys can learn from what they've done.
But they look at it as just beating the Knicks was the first round. So they look for the.
But
other
think about it. How long did it take
the
the Pistons of the '80s to get through? Of course, you're talking about better teams, but I mean, it took them a while to get through the Celtics. It took them a minute to get through the Lakers.
Yep.
So I mean, it's growing pains when you look at it.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think all of these Detroit teams are kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think they all have smart general managers.
Well, to me, he's yet to. I got to see this. I think he knows what he's doing.
Who's that?
Harris.
Okay.
These are Avila's guys. Schoolboys, Avila's.
Yeah.
Torque, Carpenter. We said this. Torque, Carpenter, Mize. Those are all Avila's people.
Right.
Now, how he moves forward from here, is yet to be. I think the guy knows what he's doing. I'm just saying. Can you continue, the success, making the moves, making the right moves? I think he can, because he comes from it. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. But yeah, the Tigers. Yeah, you're right. All the teams seem to be in like that growing phase, but right on the cusp of getting over that hump. The Tigers can't win the World Series this year. They just can't.
You don't think so?
No, because if they do, that'll make Hinch the best manager ever to live. And that ain't true. That ain't so. If Hinch won the World Series this year with this team,
well, they would have to
better start
in order
Anderson.
go to the World Series is one thing. I think they have a shot to go to the World Series, but to knock off the Dodgers, who I think the Dodgers,
they're making the best manager ever
yeah,
to live.
yeah,
And that we know that's not true. Sparky, Boshi,
yeah. I mean,
LaRussa.
but Hinch has won a World Series.
Yeah, Hinch is dope. I like him.
And
I
that
think
was
he's
a
great.
young team that he had.
It was.
So
That's what I'm saying. It's possible.
Right.
He could get to. I don't think they'll win it, but he could definitely get there. He could get there. I don't think they'll get there either, though. I don't think they beat the Yankees if it comes down to them. And then another thing too. Let's look at, because this is kind of like the Lions. Baltimore, Red Sox, the Rangers beat them, Houston beat them, Texas beat, like Angels, they beat the Angels, Colorado, White Sox. They won what they're supposed to win. But a lot of those teams that they won, those series were terrible teams. Then you get to Cleveland, So it's a lot of baseball left, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of baseball left.
You can't.
They knocked off San Diego.
Listen,
Good team,
the 84 team started off 35-5.
Right.
And Toronto kind of caught up with them there towards the end of the year. So I mean, it's
it's a lot.
Are the Tigers due for a losing streak? I would have thought that a few weeks ago.
I don't think so. I think what they can do, is lose like that, like the Cleveland. Mm-hmm. They not no 5. I don't see them. No, not this year. Not no 5. Like maybe 2 or 3, and then they come right back and bounce back and get back.
And that's because of pitching.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I don't see them just these, like any given time last year they didn't lost 15 games. No. Pitching's too good. So no, I don't see that. Now their thing is losing series. Don't get on no losing series streak, and they haven't done that at all. They've done very well as far as winning like the series. Series, which is good. That's why they got the cushion they have now.
Did you see the groundskeeper guy?
No, I heard.
So I guess he got hurt on the field somehow. I don't know. And
it was last night, right?
It was last night.
Jeez.
And I don't know if I couldn't hear if fans were like chanting something at him, but I guess he took offense to something, and he basically flipped off the camera. So, I mean, it's made the headlines.
I heard on the radio. How did he get hurt?
I don't know. It looked like they had like the doctors and stuff like that out there to take. I don't know if it was his shoulder or what it was, but he didn't take too kindly of. But I mean, come on.
Jared. Jared, do we have that? What happened? Jared, do you know? Can you help us out with
I
that?
don't know. Yeah, there it is, right here on the
flips off camera after suffering mid-game injury.
Because they kind of paused the game a little bit, but to tend to him.
Did he get hit with a ball?
No.
Was it a
I don't
rake?
know. I don't know. Maybe he was. Maybe the rake was too heavy for him or something.
Had to be a younger guy.
He did seem a little younger.
Of course.
He did seem a little younger, but I just thought that was kind of funny.
You got to be on your. You got to be on your P's
But
and
why?
Q's,
Why
your
flip
toes.
off the camera?
Yeah. What did the camera have to do? Why do we have to do anything?
Right. I mean, I'm sure he was embarrassed.
Yeah. Probably.
And then maybe he was getting heckled a little bit.
Could have been.
Because I don't.
And he
I
probably
mean,
was
why? I mean, why would you just automatically just flip the camera off? Right. And then you wonder, you hope it doesn't cost him his job.
Right.
Just because
Probably not, because he can say, I was out of my mind, I was hurt.
That's true.
Something like that. Yeah.
Some added highlights to the Detroit Tigers. So listen, the Detroit Lions. I like this new signing. Did you hear who they got?
Who?
They picked up Zach Cunningham, linebacker, a former second-round pick. I like him. He's played with Houston, coming off of 85, actually almost 100, 85 tackles with Philly in 2023. He was 100 and just a few years ago. He had over 160 some tackles with Houston, 3 straight years. I think this is a guy that can fit the Lions mold. They needed another linebacker.
Does he got long hair or something?
No. He's actually he's actually a pretty good.
Cunningham.
Looking at his bio.
Okay.
Let's take a look here. He is a second-round pick out of Vanderbilt. He's played with Houston and most recently Denver.
Okay.
But I think he was hurt last year.
I just got a real quick. I just got a text from a source He was flipping off the fan.
He was flipping off the fan?
A fan that was.
Well, he's probably the fan, and the
Heckling.
fans have no couth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, come on, really? Like the guys on the ground, you're going to heckle him?
Right. Give it. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Let's
Let's do it. I
go
want
back
to.
to
I
that.
want to see this.
We'll get back to the line.
Yeah, we'll get back to the Lions. Here it is. Here. Obviously, it had something to do with the rake because he's got the rake there.
Yeah.
It almost looks like he's holding his shoulder. Yeah.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like to know if he was heckled, and he just took offense to it.
Probably. That looked like a reactionary flip off. Obviously.
I'm sure he was probably embarrassed.
There's some different
that you get as a a grounds crew, and you get injured, and you got to be tended to by a doctor. I'm sure that wasn't.
And there's hundreds of thousands of people looking at you.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I know about I sang the national anthem for the Tigers for like 8 seasons.
Right.
So I know what it's like being in front. You all eyes on you.
Yep.
And if you make a mistake,
That's it.
God forbid, that was always in the back of my mind. If I flubbed the national anthem, good Lord.
Right.
But,
Right. You got
yeah.
it right though. You stuck it.
Yeah, I mean, but I could see that. But I mean, you think he would be used to it if he's like one of their regular
Right,
groundskeepers,
right.
Like he knows people there, but who knows? It was probably some idiot in the stands,
Yeah.
probably saying some derogatory things.
A couple of
at
chords
him.
in.
Yeah.
What we need to find out, and I'm sure he'll be okay.
Especially with it
Is
being mid-game.
Yeah, as long as he's okay.
Right. I mean, that's all.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to the Lions, Cunningham, I think this is a good piece for him. I still think you're seeing the Lions picking up guys like this who could come in and be solid for them because he is, I believe, in my opinion, he's a good pickup, probably coming off an injury last couple of seasons. Wants to rejuvenate his career.
Okay.
Detroit is a place, where people like to come and rejuvenate their careers. Look at J.D. Martinez when he came here.
Yeah.
I think I needed to make a list of people that came here and rejuvenated their careers. There's been a few.
Yeah. Well, Pudge was already a Hall of Famer.
Right. But, I mean, somebody that's came here and just, Can you think of anybody else? I know there's more.
Yeah. Mags. Was Mags on the down and then he came? Or
Yeah. I don't know. He was a free agent signing.
what about Guillen? I'm thinking short. Not football. I'm thinking.
Carlos?
Yeah.
Again?
He came. He had a solid career with the Tigers.
Seattle.
Yeah, and then
before
came.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I like how we go into these things.
Lions. Whoops! Your quarterback.
Goff?
Yeah.
Well, he was good with the Rams.
No, he wasn't. He was okay.
So he's a rejuvenated.
He's better with. I think he's better with the Lions.
Okay,
than he was
I'll
with the
give
Rams.
you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
They didn't like him.
Of course, they have better talent around them. But, anywho.
Yeah.
And
So Hutch is back.
Hutch is back.
Didn't
yeah.
he say that?
Hutch is back.
Do you sign him? I don't.
Do you sign him?
To the $8 billion that he wants.
They're going to sign him. I think that's a given.
No, I'm talking about for the market money, like the Garrett money. Do you hold out? That's the whole thing. Are they going to hold out and say play half the season?
I think you have to.
Do you extend him? I'm sorry.
I think so.
For Garrett money? After coming off this? That's the whole so here's the thing.
I'd like to see how that leg's going to respond.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of people are saying. Do we wait half the season? Or do you do it now? So the whispers around the clubhouse is that He's waiting on, his team is waiting on them. And the Tigers, it's kind of a
Tarek Skubal.
yeah, kind of a. It's not going to be one of those. Well, we got to sign him because he's a hometown kid. Blah, blah,
Well,
blah, blah.
they did exercise the 5th-year options on both him and Jamison Williams, and that was announced end of April. But let's see. So Hutchinson's 5th year is worth approximately $19.8 million, and
That's
Williams $15 million, and that'll get him through. I believe that'll get him through the 2026. Well, it'll get Williams through the 2026 season. You got to extend Hutchinson.
Why?
Because he's one of the top ends in the league.
Is he?
Yeah. And he probably would have had an even better season. He had a great season before he got his leg cracked open.
What does he average? What, 6, 7 sacks?
I think he had
Some-
7.5 before he got.
Yeah, well, he got
nailed.
5. He got 5 against Tampa. We were
doesn't-
blocking.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's
No, it
just-
doesn't matter. I agree with you. We were blocking, though, the two of us. I wanted to see if he finished on that pace. I hated he got hurt. Well, I hate anytime anybody get hurt like that, but I wanted to see what kind of pace he would have did.
Well, I think I want to see how the Lions respond now that Big Ben is somewhere else. And I just want to see how they respond to the new offensive coordinator.
Well, you think that those are your issues. You got 3 issues: Goff, offensive coordinator, and Campbell. Those 3 things are going to win you the games, or they're going to lose you the games.
I honestly agree with you on that. But now, am I saying the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl next year? I didn't say that. I just feel like they have a shot to, I mean, look what they did on kind of a depleted roster last year with injuries. Now you're getting Aiden Hutchinson back. Now you might have a guy who, Jamison Williams, he was kind of like the gadget guy. I'd like to see what he's going to do if they give him, which they say they're going to do. He's going to be a big part of that offense.
Well, can they give him a route tree? Can he run some routes? Can this offensive coordinator give him a-
Allegedly, coming out of camp, he's he's been totally committed in understanding everything that's going on. So hey, got to get some gnat spray in here.
Yeah. Little natty and yeah. That is a hard thing to do.
I think
Changing
they're going to
coordinators.
do. I think they're going to do very well this year. I think you're going to be
even
surprised.
with that schedule.
Yeah, I do. I think when I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, I had them at 9-8 or something like that.
No, I think 10. I think I have them at 9-8.
No, but I think was it Bleacher Report that we had? It was 9-8.
Could be.
Yeah, I think they're going to double-digit wins, easy. I think you're giving too much credit to the Chicago and the Vikings because I'm not sold on Jordan Love.
I know you're not, but if you look back, Caleb had a decent rookie year. He really did. With what he had, he did. People overlook that, and now you got all the weapons in place. But Jordan Love, to me, will be good. He just needs to stay healthy and stop taking too many. He's kind of got that fire in him. But I'm just looking at the Lions' schedule and their coaching and their window of it doesn't come around.
Well,
like
I
that.
think too, but I think this offensive
It's
coordinator
against
is
you.
familiar.
He is.
Because I think he was on staff with Ben Johnson.
He is.
Not last year, but the year before.
He was. He was, but he's still his own person. The defensive coordinator, I don't really worry. The defense is going to be
With that talent, though, do you really think there can be that
What
much
talent?
of a slip off?
What talent?
Gibbs.
With him, no, the same offense is the
Jameson
same.
Williams.
No, Gibbs is the offense.
I'm going to kill this net.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna
let's
do.
not kid ourselves. Hand the ball off. That's all you got to do.
Honestly, I think you're going
There's
to
no-
probably see a lot more of that. I don't think you're going to see the trick plays like you did last year. I don't think you're going to see. I think they're going to come at you different because I think they have to.
You got the superstar back.
Well, you have
Just-
two solid backs.
Yeah, just
with
hand the ball
Montgomery.
off. That's what makes 16 decent, because you can hand the ball off.
Well,
And people are on their heels.
And think about this. Laporta really didn't have that great of a year.
He did
last
not.
year. So he's due for a bounce back.
Everybody just made him Gonzalez, and give it time.
He's flying over there to you.
Yeah, give it time. Like, just get a ball to Gibbs. God forbid something happens to Gibbs, because it is over. That's their offense. Just look at it. It's their offense. It's not golf. Golf gets off what he gets off because of what he does, and that's okay. We just seen the Super Bowl winner do it. That's okay. Just get a ball to him, and golf don't turn it over 5 times. But I think the window is closed. It's hard, man. It's going to be even harder to get back to an NFC championship with this schedule and everybody upgrading. It's going to be hard. I just don't see it, especially with the newness coming in. So stick with what's familiar and give the ball to that guy and the other guy. And then let golf see you, St. Brown sweep across the slant, and run for whatever many yards. Now, I would like to see them get another. I'm still so they should get another receiver. But that's just me.
It's possible they pick somebody up. I mean,
And does Jameson just come out and just hog it out and just run it, because you can't teach what he has. Those afterburners. And if he, start, running some clean routes, some nice, good, sharp, man, wow.
Well, I mean, listen. Laporta didn't have that great of a year.
Nope.
He's due for a bounce back. Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of just
Tim
took him
Patrick
out
played
of the
well
offense a little bit.
and stepped up, and he's back with them.
Anybody
So
can
you have that.
Anybody can beat you.
I think you're going to see Jamison Williams
Step up. He had a decent season last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. So that's what I'm saying. I think you have solid receivers on this team.
You do.
For sure.
You do.
It's just how are they going to manage them?
That's Campbell, the OZ, and Goff's deal. That's their deal. Those are the 3 things. The defense that can be what Defense can be.
I don't really feel like they're gonna slip defensively this year. You added DJ Reed, which I feel like he's a solid cornerback. Mm-hmm. Terrion is in his second or third year, so you're gonna second year, so he's gonna take a step up.
I don't love their corners.
Well, they got by last year.
I don't love them
with what they had. I think they're better. I think they're a better team than last year because you get the guys that are healthy. Coming back. And then you added a Zach Cunningham. You added Reed. Then you added the new player from Ohio State.
The defense to me was
tackle.
The defense to me was the offense. The offense put up 40.
Well,
you can't guard against 40.
But why do you think they're going to take a step back? Just because of the schedule? Do you feel Kansas City is better than last year?
Yeah, they will be. Got a chip on the shoulder. They got the best player in football. Heck yes. And they're talking about maybe getting Tyreek Hill back. So I just think you can't bet. Like, even a losing season to them is getting to the Super Bowl and losing. They do that. They get to the Super Bowl all the time. So, until somebody proves they can beat them, they'll be in the Super Bowl again, to me. Yes, the schedule is more tough. People know now. Lions ain't going to surprise you. They're the hunted. They're the hunted, and you have 2 new coordinators.
But Tony said that on our show last year. They were hunted, and they ended up winning 15 games.
That ain't nothing.
They won the North.
Right. That ain't nothing. Because they're not just win the North anymore. We said that 2 years ago.
Well,
It's Super Bowl or failure. Now, if we want to go down there and just have a good time, drink beer, have hot dogs, tailgate, blah, 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 they won 15 games, so be it. They can do that. But if you want to, are you serious about winning the Super Bowl? Win the Super Bowl.
Well, I think they're set up better to win a Super Bowl this year.
Than last year?
Yes,
Huh.
I do.
With the 2 new coordinators.
That I'm not really too worried about because it's not like you brought in 2 guys that were not familiar with the systems.
It
or
makes
the
a difference,
players
though.
that are in place.
It does make it a little different. It does. People say that all the time.
I think I'll be honest with you. I think Aaron Glenn's going to be a bust in New York.
It's no being honest. He's in a world of trouble. He doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's in a world of trouble. 5 games, 4 games, maybe. He's in the world.
And
of
I'm
trouble.
not. I mean,
and it's total chaos.
Yeah. Okay. So Washington got Deebo Samuel, but Deebo Samuel can't stay healthy.
I'm not worried about
He's
that.
a boomer bust.
I'm not worried. They were good with no defense. They won 12 games with no defense.
Right, but I think the Lions would have played. I think if the Lions would have been healthy, 100%, that game would have gone a different way.
How? Hutch didn't throw 5 picks.
They didn't have a defense.
Hutch didn't throw 5 picks. Hutch didn't throw 5 picks. None of the corners threw 5 picks. And you had a superstar on the other end showing up, an old veteran. I keep going back to the Rams played Brady. The score was 18-3. Goff had the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in that Super Bowl. He scored 3 points. Eventually, it's going to come down to him because he has the ball in his hand. And you got new coordinators. And that schedule is brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah, but we said we were talking about their schedule.
It wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. I was only concerned with the North. The North was good. I was concerned with the North.
And what do we do?
Right.
We won.
Right. The North was good. They weren't as good as the Lions. The other teams weren't. But Minnesota won 15 games. I don't care how many games you win. I care about the game you win. They didn't win the game. He didn't do it again. He didn't do it again in San Francisco. How many chances you guys going to keep getting? You think you're going to keep getting to get back to the NFC Championship? Everybody's gearing up for you now. That's what I mean when the window's closed. Everybody, they didn't have the chance to get. They didn't get. You were better. You were much, much better.
You think they're better last year than this year?
Yeah.
Coming in,
Yeah.
even with all the injuries. You're gonna have. I mean, injuries can come. We don't know who's going to get injured this year, but
Gibbs going to give you 10 games, 9 games, 8 games himself. It's going to be up to the coordinator because there are going to be different situations, man. It's not going to be just, follow the Ben Johnson script. Follow Glenn's script.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think, I know you and Tony had said something about they're the hunted. But I just think
when you win, you are.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think, you have a guy who basically you got 2 new coordinators, and I think they're going to add their spin to it. It's not like you're bringing them in going into something they've never seen before and players they've never used before. And speaking of that, hey, Jared, I got a question for you. Is there any way to bring up the Zoom or no? I have EVJ wanting to get in on this conversation.
EVJ.
Yeah. And I know we were kind of limited with the camera angles today. But I know Joe's sitting back stewing.
Why?
In his seat.
Why is he stewing?
He wanted to get in on the conversation last week.
Why is he stewing?
But
facts are facts.
Well, hey, Joe, I wonder if he'll have his chain on. You think he'll have his chain on?
No, it's not. No, there's no games. Not yet.
There's no games yet?
I don't know.
He did join. He did.
Again, Joe, you never know.
EVJ did join Instagram. He had never been on Instagram before, and his profile picture is him with the chain on.
Oh, okay. So maybe.
So I think Joe actually wears that to work every day. He wears it in his trek down to L.A. County.
Well, Joe's a boss, so he probably can.
Yeah.
He's a boss.
I think so. But listen, I think the Lions are better off this year. I really do. I'm not just saying that.
Yes, you are just saying it. I'm gonna tell you why you're just saying it.
Why?
everyone.
You and Tony were
Joe
kind
coming
of
in?
negative. He might be.
I'm always negative about it because I see the truth. I don't think Tony looks at it from a football. He knows more football. I'm looking at it from what I've seen in the past and what I see in Jared Goff. I'm looking at it from the truth. The truth of the matter is, I always say this, nobody thought Kobe would win without Shaq. Nobody thought Washington would beat the Lions last year. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought that. Don't tell me they did. Nobody thought Washington would come into Ford Field and beat them and put up 55 points. Nobody thought that. Defense or not. Nobody thought that. Not the way they had been rolling. Nobody thought it. I said the week before, I said, watch out for Washington. That kid is something else.
Well, he proved it all year long, though. I mean, for a rookie quarterback?
That's what I'm saying. So that's my point, too. They won 12 games. So what? I don't care how many games you win.
Would you say their division was a little weaker than the North?
But they still had to play everybody else. Yeah. Well, actually not, because Philadelphia won the Super Bowl. Dallas got obliterated with injuries, and the Giants are terrible.
Like I said, I still think, and I'm not just saying that, I just feel like Joey's ready. We'll bring him in. Bring him in, Jared. There we go. Hey,
No necklace.
EVJ with no necklace. He's got the tiger head on.
He's
now.
getting.
I'm sorry. He's got the EVJ, a neon light in the back. You see that?
You like that, don't you, Corey?
I love it. I love it.
Joe, have you heard Corey just rattling off about the Lions? I know you had to.
You know what? I just caught the last couple seconds, but I already know where it's going. Hey, dude. Hey, Corey. Lions
Yes,
are going
sir.
to win the Super Bowl this year.
I know. I know.
Well, Joe, to bring you up to date, we were talking about. I feel like the Lions will fare better this year if they don't have the injuries that they had last year. And then they just signed Zach Cunningham, a linebacker who has fared pretty well in the NFL. I think he'll be a nice fit in the linebacking scheme for the Lions. And I just feel like, I think we were talking about this, Joe, that even though you got two new coordinators, I don't think you're going to see the same old Ben Johnson trick plays and all that other stuff. I think they're going to come at you, and they may catch people by surprise in the way they do things, both offensively and defensively. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know what, Scott? I do think you're going to see a completely different kind of a ball game this year. I think I think that's standard with any major shakeup, especially with coaching. I can't imagine we're going to see the same type of schemes that we saw last year. Going for it on fourth down every time we had a fourth down. I'm not sure who was behind the thought pattern there, but I think Dan Campbell had to buy off on it. But Ben Johnson always seemed to have something up his sleeve for those fourth downs, So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes this year. I think there's definitely going to be an adjustment period with the players getting used to the new schemes or the new thought patterns behind the strategies and going out on fourth down or whatever it may be. I don't see the Lions winning 15 games this year. But you never know. I don't think there's any question that the Lions demonstrate even though they were decimated by injuries, they still were able to put a solid product on the field every week. Until they had to play a good team in Washington, and they were decimated at the position that they needed to have solid in order to contain that quarterback. And that was, I still think the key injury for the Lions, aside from Hutchinson, was Alim McNeil. I think
Yeah.
that was the key
Oh, yeah,
injury
absolutely.
for the season. Anzalone has always been tough. He's been a good player, but he's not a standout linebacker, across the league. Alim McNeil, on the other hand, I think is a standout defensive tackle across the league, and his loss enabled Daniels to basically run roughshod over the lines. I mean, we couldn't stop their run, and that was the bottom line. So, and that kid he's a great quarterback. He's got a two-prong approach. He can run and he can throw. They weren't decimated with injuries. They had some injuries of their own, but they weren't decimated with injuries, and I think we were. And I think that if we don't have the volume of injuries that we had last year, I think we can put a better product on the field at the end of the season, and maybe come out on top. I think Corey's gonna agree, maybe laugh at this, but the bottom line is Jared Goff has not proven himself in the playoffs, or in big games. And that, that remains to be seen if he can, get over that hurdle of being a professional championship caliber, athlete. It's just the bottom line. He's got very good skills. He's an intelligent quarterback. He's grown a lot since he's been with the Lions after leaving the Rams. He's one dimensional. He does not have the running game that some of these other younger guys have, Mahomes and Daniels. And that kid, the one that Corey loves, what's his name, Williams,
Yeah.
who may or may not become good with his new team. We'll see about that. But I never thought he was all that great at USC, and until until he won the Heisman. I was like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
But he clearly put up some numbers at SC, and he's got skills, and he is a two-dimensional quarterback. It remains to be seen if he can perform at the professional level, though.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
it's a wait and see kind of game, and I do think the Lions are going to put another quality product on the field. They've solidified their defense. I think that their draft pick of the defensive tackle was an important thing to get, given that Alim McNeil is probably not even going to be ready until the middle of the season.
Sure.
To play at a high level. Hutchinson seems ready to return. My buddy Dorsey, I don't know if he's going to be back for the beginning of the season, or if he'll even make the 53-man roster. When it comes around. So he may be relegated to the DL again. We'll see. But yeah, I think the Lions are going to be solid this year, just like they were last year, and I see them making as big a run as they made last year towards the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I think they're definitely a Super Bowl contender still.
Bleacher Report had them at 9-8. What do you think?
That's ridiculous.
I think so too. How many did you say that you thought they were going to win next year?
9-8.
You think 9-8?
Why is that so ridiculous? That's a winning record.
Yeah, it's not good enough to make the playoffs, though. So they're a playoff.
Well, maybe
they're a
not
playoff team and a Super Bowl contender. They're going to win more than 9 games.
Well,
But the schedule may not allow that. A lot of good quarterbacks they play. They didn't play a lot of good quarterbacks last year.
Well, if they don't have the injuries that they had last year, they're going to smash some people, some good quarterbacks.
I still don't see that. I still don't see what am I missing with that defense that was so great that Hutch never could stop. He was never known to get to the quarterback. The run stoppage was never there.
known. Did you just say he's never known to get to the quarterback?
No. In the beginning he was not. They were saying,
I mean, it took him a while to get.
That's not. I'm not going to say anything that's not true. He was not known for getting to the quarterback until.
You might say something that's not true.
No.
And our job is to check you on that.
No. What I'm saying is 9-8 seems reasonable. It seems reasonable. And where's his defense?
After a 15-2 season, why does that seem reasonable?
The schedule changed. Have you seen it? No, have you seen it?
Yeah,
The first
Listen.
6 weeks, you could lose 2 games. I mean, you could lose 4 games right off the bat.
and you can say it about any team, every team.
Exactly.
It's the NFL.
But we kind of talked about that last year.
why do you
Everybody
say-
had them,
Their schedule
with a
stunk last
lesser.
year.
Yeah,
wasn't
but
like
when we
this.
talked about this in preseason last year,
It wasn't like this.
you and Tony didn't seem all too high on him.
I don't never seem high on him.
Well, I get it, but I'm just saying. But they still put up 15 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, they still put up 15 wins.
But here's my thing:
because
even
you
if they
play-
don't
With the
win
decimated,
15 games,
defense.
If you guys really, like I do, look at the teams that they played and the quarterbacks that they played. When they played good ones, they lost. They should have lost in Houston. 5 picks again. I said on the show, I said, watch this, look at this. He's gonna do this again. They should have lost that one. You should have lost to the Rams by 1 or something. They have no team. Stafford almost beat you by itself. Tampa beat you with no team. When they got to play good quarterbacks, they played Baltimore, they played Josh, they lost. They lost to good teams. They lost to teams with good quarterbacks. The beginning of their roster is filled with that. Lamar, Joe Cool. You got to answer for those 2 receivers in Cincinnati? These quarterbacks that they're playing in the beginning are tough. That's all I'm saying. 9-8, 10-7 might not be that might be what it is. Everybody's upgraded. The Lions aren't the only ones that are upgraded.
well, let's take a look at the schedule, shall we? So they start
That's what I'm
off
saying.
in
Look at it.
Lambeau against the Packers. I'm saying win.
Okay.
What do you guys got?
You can 50-50 it to me.
Well,
That's a 50-50 game.
You can 50-50
I think it's
it.
solely a 50-50 game.
50. Okay.
But if I had to pick, I'm going to say lose.
you know-
I'm going to say lose. I'm going to say
Any-
lose.
any-
Well,
Anybody-
the Lions have played good in Lambeau
I'ma
the
say-
last few years.
Yeah, but like Joe just said, everything is new now. New start.
It's,
new
you
start.
know, anytime you play in Lambeau, dude,
tough.
anytime you play on the road in the NFL, it's tougher
It's
than
tough.
playing at home. And then
There
you
you
go
go.
into Lambeau. The best thing the Lions have going for them in Lambeau is that it's early in the season and the weather is going to be okay.
I agree with you.
So that's the best thing. Hopefully it'll be okay. You never know in Lambeau, but
I'm going to say 0-1.
0-1.
Yep.
The Bears come to Ford Field.
0-2.
we're going to smash them.
I don't know.
The,
I don't know.
the-
Smash the
week,
Bears.
week 3
So
against the Ravens in Baltimore.
Loss. That's a loss. That's a loss. You have
You
no answer.
automatically think that's a
You
loss.
have no answer for Henry and Lamar. No, it's a loss.
We have no
Where are you
answer.
going to go? What are they going to go? 17-0?
I'm not saying that.
Are they winning the Super Bowl?
They have a shot at it.
I didn't say that. Are they winning the Super Bowl?
Who?
Lions.
I already said it.
They are?
I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I already told you. Lions win. the
Are you
Super
saying
Bowl
it
this
just
year.
for giggles?
No, you know what? who can call?
Are you
it
saying that
this
for-
year? If we're going to put some money down on it, I mean, what are you going to do? I'm going to throw my money.
Well,
there.
Vegas doesn't
I
have
put
a-
my money. I put my money where my mouth is.
Vegas
Are
has
you
a-
going to call
Ve-
the Cowboys to win it?
Cowboys not going to win the Super Bowl. Even though they have upgraded and they look good, they're not going to win the Super Bowl.
They look
Because-
good on paper.
They look great. And I don't think nobody has an answer for those 2 receivers either. But
We'll
guess
see.
what? But guess what? Number 4 hasn't shown me like number 16. It's the same thing. It's just that we
Well,
have more stars.
Okay, fair
Browns
enough.
Browns come to Ford Field.
That's a win.
The next week, the Lions head to Cincy.
Loss.
No, I can't. You can't say that. The Bengals.
You
have
just
not-
asked me. I'm saying loss.
Okay.
Hey, that's just prediction. Let them have it.
Okay.
We're just,
I just feel like great.
I know they're-
Burrows is good.
I know they're 4-0.
Jamar Chase, but listen,
And other
they
Hilliard.
they didn't have a great season last year.
And they came back at the end and almost got into the playoff. They're not going to beat Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati at home. They're not. They're
Why
not.
not?
They don't have. First
Why
of all,
not?
they don't have the corners for it. There's no answer for those 2. They don't have the
For
corners
what
for it.
2?
It'll be
For-
outside. Hilliard,
But the Lions
the best receiver in football.
They played, shut down Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson is not better than him, and Justin Jefferson, when there's only one player you can key on, you can do that. You can do that.
Jefferson is probably one of the best receivers
He's the best.
in all
He's
the
a-
NFL.
I think number one
he
is the
had
kid in
Sam
Cincinnati.
Dalton throwing to him. That was his problem.
There you go. I think number 1 is in Cincinnati because Jefferson doesn't run the routes like he does. It's a difference than just being an athlete and Jefferson doesn't run the route, and you still have an answer for him. But if you put 9 people on the side of him, sure, they can. They have no other. They had no other help. Cincinnati's got a running game, and they got two of the best wide receivers in the world. And they got the top 3 quarterbacks.
But do they have?
So they're
but
Lions just going to walk in there.
But does the Bengals have the defense to stop the line? You got to take that in consideration too. Does their defense have?
Yes, they do. They have a good defense. They have a decent defense. It's their O-line that's always killed them. The thing about Joe Burrow, unlike your quarterback and mine, he can't win. They can win by himself. He can win a game by himself. Goff can't do that. He can't do that.
You know, Goff can do it. Goff has done it. Goff has won the game by himself.
When?
What is Burrow? Burrow can throw a ball, but he can't run. He's not going to beat you with his legs.
Doesn't matter.
You know,
he can beat Kansas City. He beats Kansas City all the time. My point is.
Well, so do the Lions, for that matter.
What?
So do the Lions beat Kansas City.
Next, what's the record?
Well, they're
not
next week
beating
they're in
Cincinnati.
Kansas City against the
That's
Chiefs.
a loss, and I can't wait for that game because when you beat them the first time, there was no Kelsey, there was no Jones for any pass rush. Now everybody's back. Now everybody's bitter. Now everybody's mad, and Mahomes is going to beat you in Kansas City. Next thing.
No,
Next team.
they're going to lose. Kansas City's going to get beat. They're going to have a down season. They might be 8-9 this year. They're not going to the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't be surprised, Co, if the Chiefs are.
They say
have a
everybody
down
says this every year about them. They don't look that good. They don't look that good. Oh, let me guess, 15-2. Oh, 13-3. Oh, guess what?
whatever.
Now they're back in the Super Bowl.
No, they're not.
You say it every year.
Not a chance. No, they're not. They won't be back in the Super Bowl. They're going to get beat. Mahomes is going to get hurt this year, and Kelsey's going to retire because he's going to get smashed. He's going to break his leg. He's going to be done. And Mahomes is getting hurt this year.
Oh, God.
Buccaneers come to town.
That's always a loss for you.
The Buccaneers.
Who?
Mayfield destroys you. He beat you just last year.
Dude, Mayfield is like he's like a stoner. Some days he's good and some days he's bad.
Right.
But he's always
on-
good against
he's
you.
on
He's
crack.
always beats the Lions.
He
always beats the
he
Lions.
played well last year and
He always
and he
beats
he
the
single-handedly
Lions.
took his team to the
Yes,
to the
and he
playoffs,
will,
so.
and he'll outshine golf again. Yeah, so that's a loss.
He may, but golf
I don't
isn't
know.
going to suck every
I think the
game for him.
Buccaneers are on a downward spiral.
They,
That's just my opinion. The next week,
he has them at 17-0.
I don't have them
him
at
at
17-0.
Jeez.
Every team is. So Corey's stance seemed to be that every team is on the upswing and the Lions are in downswing.
No.
Is that
But that's what I was trying to
No.
tell. That's what I was trying to point out.
Every,
you guys are
every opponent is on the upswing, but the
No.
Lions are on the downswing.
No, you guys are contenders. You're contenders. Win the Super Bowl.
Contender for what? We're contender
Super
for
Bowl.
second place. That's
You're
what you're
cont-
saying.
No, you're not
saying-
going to win. You're not going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying you're
Okay.
contenders. Everybody expects you to win the Super Bowl now. You're
No,
not.
Well, that not before the season starts. We're not. We're
Yes,
not.
they are.
this-
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes,
you
they
think
are.
we're the Super Bowl favorite?
You're
this
not?
year?
But Detroit fans
no.
think they are.
Who?
Scott's got to go 17-0.
I don't have them 17-0.
You think they're going? You just said they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm just going off what you said.
I said they have a great shot at being in the Super Bowl.
Well,
Like I said, it all depends on
injuries.
injuries. It depends on,
Injuries.
but that's in every sport.
I agree. That's what I said last year, man. I refused to answer the question all last season until the end of the year when I finally said, the Lions are going to
repeat.
win the Super Bowl,
I
and
repeat.
then they lost the next game.
I repeat, nobody thought Washington was coming in there to beat them. Nobody but me. And I wasn't even that sure.
Well, I don't know. They
no,
had a lot of people think that they were going to beat them, but I didn't think they were going to win that game. I thought the Lions would be prepared to play it, but they just didn't have an answer, up the middle, and they couldn't stop the run. Ultimately.
And listen,
Would you agree with that, Cordy? Is that why the Lions lost?
No.
Why did they lose?
Golf through 5 picks.
Well, yeah, that too. That
That's
too.
it.
His fumble.
Because
His fumble
5
was
picks and
the
a
key
fumble.
of the game.
Yeah.
That fumble was what I thought was the key to the game.
The defense didn't do that. That was your
No.
leader.
Yeah. Well, clearly it wasn't a great game. I mean, for him, for sure. I mean,
it was big. It was big.
Yeah.
That means it's it's a problem. That's my
it means
panic.
it's
That's
a
my
loss.
point. Yeah. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying. So what makes you think he's going to win the Super Bowl this year? It's the same quarterback.
Because
He didn't upgrade.
all it takes
He
is
didn't
1
upgrade.
year.
He
all
didn't
it takes
upgrade.
is 1 year
He
to,
didn't upgrade.
to overcome.
And it should be no changes. What it should be, I didn't think Ben Johnson did a whole lot of trick stuff. What you better do is give the ball to number 21.
Six.
Was it? 26? Yeah, that's what you better do. 7
That
out of 10
kid's-
times, give him the ball.
That kid's a superstar. Unfortunately,
superstar.
in the NFL,
He's a superstar.
running backs last 4 years. He's
Right.
in year 3. So
Yeah.
hopefully he'll make it through the season without getting his leg broke, so
Listen, I feel like, and we were talking about this before you came on. I think that, you're getting players back that were injured.
Who?
Hutchinson. You added Zach Cunningham. I think that's a sneaky good pick to
Terry
have.
Arnold,
Terry on
Rakestraw.
Arnold. We got DJ Reed.
Rakestraw and Terry Arnold. Are you kidding me?
Rakestraw. Rakestraw.
You like them back there?
Listen, I think you're going to see Rakestraw make strides this year.
Dude, they were
And-
youngsters, man. I mean,
Yeah.
And
and
Hutch,
they were good. And
You
Is
still
Hutch-
got Kirby Joseph. You still got Brian Branch.
Hutch's injury is he the same Hutch? I thought he was B, low B. Is he the same Hutch?
low B what before he got hurt?
Yeah, B
Oh,
minus.
so he was leading the leagues in sacks at that time when he got hurt.
B minus.
But he was playing a B minus.
I gave you B minus. No, I'm
Dude,
talking
that
about
is-
overall. I'm telling you, I'm
dude,
giving
that
you
is-
overall. He's Garrett. So he's Garrett and Bosa. He's with those guys. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Bolsha.
He's Garrett. He's with Miles
Joey
Garrett.
Bosa?
He's with Miles Garrett.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's as
up
good as
there.
Miles Garrett?
He's
up
in
there.
that class
Yeah.
for
Yes.
sure.
I don't care
Yes.
about the sincere and yes. No, he's not. He's not up there knowing Miles Garrett. Are you insane? Are you guys insane
No.
right now? Because he's a hometown
we're-
guy.
No.
You
No,
would rather
we're
have
not
Hutch,
insane.
so you could swap him, and you'll be good with that. My God.
Listen. What Bolsa are you talking about? Joey?
You want Micah Parson or
Nick.
Hutchinson?
Hutchinson.
Come on,
Micah Parson or who?
Come on, man. Are y'all serious right now?
Or Hutchinson?
Yeah.
I'd rather have Hutchinson.
Talent wise?
Yeah.
Person wise.
I didn't say that.
Guy
I
on your
didn't say that.
team
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said talent wise.
Listen, winning comes down to
12
You said
sacks?
who
talent.
would I rather have?
12
Micah
sacks
Parsons
to
or-
6. Are y'all serious right now? See, this is why.
do you
This is
mean?
why it's not. You're saying Miles Garrett is the same player as you have. Let's get to
No,
the next topic.
I didn't say that. I said they're in
You
the
just
same
said
class.
it. No, they're not.
I think they're in the same.
Okay,
class.
well,
they're not.
yes, they are.
Count the sacks.
So
Well, you can't.
Just take it year by year. You're sitting here saying to me that he's just as good as Miles Garrett.
I'm saying
That's
he's
what you're
in the
honestly
same
saying.
class.
I am. Yes. I am.
He's good. Why,
Yeah.
why won't he be better? He's better.
Who?
Well, how do you tie it? So they're tied. There's no one better.
Well, Miles Garrett's been in the league long.
I don't care. Is he better than Hutchinson? What are y'all saying right now? Because I
I'd say
can't.
they're in
Because
you're not
if
listening.
we're saying this, if you're saying this, then I can't say Jared Goff is not a winner. Because you don't believe that. So there's no point in arguing the Lions with you guys. Because if you're saying Hutchinson is as good as Miles Garrett, when everybody across the world will say otherwise, now you're just homering.
No,
No,
there's
nobody
nobody.
said that. That's the thing. You're putting words
You
in my
did.
mouth.
You just said he was better.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that.
Okay, is he better?
I didn't say that. I said they're in the same class. Do you,
What is
do you
that?
not, Does that not
Yeah, I know
compute?
it. They're saying they're equal.
They're in the same class, bro.
They're saying
I
they're
mean,
so you're saying they're equal.
Okay, that's
They're
closer.
equal. So,
that's closer
so
than
they're
me saying
both.
that
So
he's
they're
better
both.
than somebody.
So they're both tied as players. They're both tied as good. That's what they are.
Listen,
Say what
Garrett.
you want, Corey. Say what you want. Put the words in my mouth. Any words that you want to put in my mouth, go ahead and put them in there.
I'm saying
You
America.
just do what you gotta
can,
do.
can somebody call in on this and say, and these Homer guys, you done lost 50 times with Goff, and you still think you're going to the Super Bowl. Now you're telling me Hutchinson is better than Miles Garrett.
So we've lost 50 times with Goff, huh? Okay. And Goff could because he hasn't won a big game or that big game,
And he
can
won't.
never do it. He can never
No.
do it, right?
No.
He can never do it, right?
Aiden Hutchinson, stat-wise, for the first 3 seasons, is comparable with Myles Garrett's first 3 seasons.
He's averaged 9 sacks. Myles Garrett averaged about 12 or 13 now. So does
So is Jaden Daniels going to win the Super Bowl?
no.
Why?
When is he? You said he's great.
No.
He's one of the top, 3 or 5 or what? What'd you say?
No, I didn't say Jane Daniels was top 5. No, I didn't.
Oh, I
Just
thought
second
you
year.
said that.
No, I said Lamar and
He said Caleb Williams.
no.
Oh,
didn't say
Lamar
Caleb
Jackson.
I said
Lamar
Caleb Williams is-
Jackson, who has never won the big game and chokes every big game that he's ever played in.
That is
he
true,
going to win the
Cole.
Super Bowl?
But he's better than.
Is
But
he
he's
gonna
better
win the
than
Super
golf.
Bowl?
But he's better than golf.
Is he going to win? Well, how is he better than golf? He hasn't won any big games. He didn't win the Super Bowl. Every time he gets to the championship game, he chokes, and he chokes in a big way.
So
And he can't get it done. So
okay,
he's
so
never won one. So is
so
he in
they're
the
tied?
same boat as golf?
So who would you take?
As far as what?
Quarterback.
I'd take them both. I'd play them both. I'd platoon them.
Right.
I'd platoon them.
Right.
Running plays, I'd put in Jackson. Passing plays, I'd
Right.
put in golf. There we
Well,
have
here
it.
I'll pose this question to you:
done.
Do you have to be a
Yeah,
good?
I
Do you
like
have
that
to be a
question.
mobile quarterback in this league in order to win a Super Bowl?
No.
So who's won the Super Bowl? Oh, so Mahomes is the only great quarterback because he's won the Super Bowl, right?
He does. No. Mahomes doesn't have to run. He knows when to run.
He does, and he's an incredible player. I mean, he makes
He
shit
doesn't
happen.
have. He can sit in the pocket. You don't have. You can be a. I prefer pocket passer. Just know when to run. Golf just can't run, and he can't stop throwing 6 picks in a game. It's just
Well,
that simple.
He did it twice last year, right? 5. He threw 5 picks in 2 games,
Yeah, and fumbling. Get out
and
of here,
so he had 2 bad games all year long.
man. No, he didn't. He had more than 2 bad games.
No.
Well,
Even the game that he
mean,
threw 4
how-
or
how
5
many
picks,
picks-
they ended up winning that game
how
against
many?
Houston.
Yeah, that was crazy, huh? How many picks? How many picks did Goff throw last year total? You know?
I'm going to check it right now.
Well, probably. Well, he had 10. Well, that's not the regular season. Oh no, the regular don't count the postseason. So he had 5 I know of. I'm going to say at least
Right,
13
in one game.
At least 13 or 14.
Here's what you want to do.
At least. Nobody
Okay.
said he's not a B minus. He's just not an A. He's just not an A.
He threw 12 picks.
I said 12 or 13.
12
He had,
picks.
he
the
had
whole
30.
Year.
He had
threw 5 in one game.
111.8 passer rating.
Yeah, because you
He
got
threw
5 in one game,
72%
And
completion
out of
rating.
and you know why
out
that
of-
is? You know why that is?
37 touchdowns.
You know why that is? Because he has a running back that opens everything up over the dunk, and that's what he does. That's
Yeah,
what
and
he has a running back, just like the quarterback that just won the Super Bowl has a running back to make everything simple. So everybody,
shouldn't
all
it
those-
be that way? It's
yes,
a team sport.
Exactly. So everybody's talking about running back doesn't matter. It always mattered.
Always.
It always
That's why
matters.
it's
always
a
mattered.
11-man team.
It
you
always
know?
mattered. But it's a team sport, but the quarterback
Exactly.
gets the blame or the shine. So stop acting like 6 picks or 5 picks and a fumble in the biggest game of the career of the season is not a big deal, and that this man is a good quarterback enough to win the Super Bowl. Stop saying that. Because it hasn't
Why?
happened and it won't happen. Because he's had
Well, it hasn't
opportunity to do it.
happened, but
He
you
has
can't say
opportunity
that
to
it
do
won't happen.
He has opportunity to do it. I'm going by history. I got to go by history. That's all we can go
You're
by.
going by the seat of your pants, is what you're.
No,
going
we're
by.
going by history.
And you're using. You
have to use the pass to get to now. You have to use the pass to get to now.
We can't argue that. How can we use a superlative and say, hey, he's going to win the big game?
You just said it. Both of you just said it a minute ago. You said, well, they won 15 games last year, so why can't they do that?
I
That was
never
last
said they
year.
were going to win 15 games this year.
And I don't talk like that. I don't talk like that.
What I'm saying is, your quarterback stinks, and you know it.
I don't. You can't say he stinks.
He doesn't
though.
stink.
No, he stinks in
number
big
one.
games. I'm sorry, he stinks in big games. Can we say that? Is that fair?
Okay.
My God,
Well,
is something
well,
is something around here
you're
make
gonna say that.
Lion
And you're going to say that, and we
he
got
scored
what?
3 points in a Super Bowl.
think-
He had the best offense in the
I
world,
think we have
and the
three-
best defense.
Well, listen.
And he had the best
Well-
defense with the Rams. They were top 2. And he had the best offense. And he scored 3 points in a Super Bowl.
Dude, just like
Why do you
said,
think
his
McVay
running
kicked him
back-
out of town?
Just like you said, you got to have your running back that evens things out. And his running back
Listen,
injured
that
game.
no, but it's the
Make
truth, Cole.
excuses.
If
Todd
Gurley would have
Gurley
been the
was hurt
Gurley
that game,
that they
dude.
would have had before he got hurt, that Super Bowl would have been a totally different story.
Okay, so what's the excuse for last? He had Gibbs.
The defense. That was one of the things.
Let's wrap. What's the excuse for last year? He had Gibbs. He had the best back in football.
We couldn't stop their offense, dude. And he threw 5 fucking picks. I mean, what are you going to say about that?
So it's
I mean,
not
he
his fault.
He didn't play good.
You know what Washington's defense was?
I didn't say it was
Almost last. They're terrible defensively. They were terrible defensively. This kid had McLaren.
Not on that game. They weren't terrible.
Okay. Goff was. Again,
Goff
and it
was-
was what?
Goff was not
You
good.
just said
He
it.
wasn't
You gotta
sharp.
make up your mind. In big games, he hasn't proven it. You just said that. So now you're gonna go against me? You just said it.
Yes,
You just
I'm
said
going
in
to
big
go against
games.
you.
Because you just said now you're going against what you said. You said in big
No.
games he can't do it. You just said that.
I didn't say you can't do it. You said that.
What did
I
you
didn't
say about
that.
Goff? He said he hasn't proven. Didn't he say that? Can we rewind the tape? You just said he hasn't proven in big games. He can't do it.
Okay, I said that.
Okay, so you
I
agree.
didn't mean
that's
that doesn't
that's all
mean
I
he
said.
can't do it. Just because he hasn't doesn't
History
mean he can't do
history
it.
has shown he can't.
It's
like I
it's
said,
a
guys.
matter of overcoming, Corey. You know,
How many
you've been an athlete
years?
long enough.
How
Have
many
you always
years
been
we got to
great?
overcome?
Have you
How
always
many years?
been
What,
great?
7 years?
Have you always been great as an athlete? Did you not have to? Did you not have down times or a time where you had to raise the level of your play? You know, to become a better player. You know, I heard that you were a great ball player back in the day, and I'd be willing to believe that. I never saw you play, but I'd be willing to believe it.
Well, thank you.
You know, but you know, just as an athlete, person that grew up, you know, playing ball, you know, and being on teams, you know that you weren't always great, but you had to get to a level to be on a good team, and then you had to go to a higher level to be one of the better players on that good team. You know, so you know it takes time, and you know I'm not saying that Goff is great, you know, because the great guys, you know, like you can't really argue that Mahomes is not a great player. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame because of the way he's played, especially in big games, and not just in big games, in all games. You know, that dude makes things happen. You know, he's got size. He's got a two-dimensional game where he can run and he can pass. And you're right, he's smart. He knows when to run.
Yeah.
You know, and do I put Goff in his at his level? No, you really can't. Goff is a one-dimensional kind of quarterback, and that's with his arm. He's not going to win games running. I agree with that. You know, and that's why
Well, I
that's
think
why
too.
football. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
No. I think too. Tony said this a few times. If Goff has got to throw 40 times a game, then you're in trouble.
The loss. Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, he had to throw. I'm looking at the stats here. He had to throw 30 sometimes in the Houston game. He had to throw 40 times in the Washington loss to the Washington in the playoffs. Probably these 2 bad games of the year, because other than that, when I'm looking at the stats here, yeah, I mean those were his 2 worst games.
What about the Bills game? How many times did he throw in the Bills game?
In the Bills game, he threw 59 times. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't throw any interceptions in that game.
So what does that really mean? What does that mean? I don't care about that.
Listen, I think when it all boils down
care
to it, we can we say this, and I know we talked about this before on the Roar last year. It's a team sport. Everything's got to, when you win a championship, everything has got to, all the dominoes have got to hit at the right time. Boom, 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 boom. Listen, I think Jared Goff, he's an accurate quarterback. You can say he's thrown this. He hasn't done this in the big games. But I think at times, you know, all-star players have had rough times in the playoffs. And they've gotten over that. And yeah, it remains to be seen if Jared Goff can do that. But I think I want to see Jared Goff with a healthy Sam Laporta, a Jamison Williams being used besides a gadget receiver. I want to see what the defense can do now with Hutchinson being healthy all year long, and a Lynn McNeil coming back, and then you got to figure this: DJ Reader is another defensive tackle that didn't really play that well last year as a free agent sign. You signed DJ Reed. You're having Branch and Kirby Joseph, coming off of great seasons. I think they've improved, and I just want to see it. To say that they're going to win 15 games, I can't say that. I really wouldn't say that. Do I think, in my mind, as a Lion fan, do I think they can win every game? Yes, I think they could, but they're not. We all know that, and it all depends on injuries. And like I said, who's to say we go to Kansas City and Mahomes gets hurt the week before? That could be a win.
That's what kind of happened last year.
Well,
the last time.
Yeah. I mean, you got to play the cards you're dealt. So, I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm not going to say that I think they have a shot at going to the Super Bowl. Will they win the Super Bowl? I can't say that. Because, like I said, it just depends on where the cards fall. Maybe we could talk about this in Week 15 or the first week of the playoffs or whatever. But to say that they're going to go 9-8, I don't know. I just think that's.
It's hard to win on Sundays.
It is.
That's still, you act like that. So you act like that. The Lions have never 6-6. This is the same team that went 0-16. It's possible to go 9-8. It's okay. It's a winning record.
Listen.
This is the same franchise that went 0-16.
I think what it all boils down to is you got to peak at the right time, and if they can win the division and get a good playoff spot with 12 wins or 13 wins, I'm fine with that. Get a bye, get home field advantage. I don't know. Everything has to fall any World Series or Super Bowl they've all had everything's had to play out in their favor somehow, some way.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
See, I can't. I don't feel comfortable as a non-Lion fan saying, "Oh, you know what? Goff's going to win me at least 3 by himself." I don't feel comfortable saying that because he can't.
You don't have to say that
because he can't. Because
okay.
like some of those like
so you say
right. And a lot of quarterbacks can't do that. That's all I'm saying. Most of them can't in this NFL. Most of them can't. And he's just one of those guys. It's okay to go 10-7 and 9-8. It's getting to the dance. It's getting to the tournament. To hell with the record. He can't win the big game as of right now, today.
Well,
period.
So no. Well, I think it would be more correctly stated is that he has not won the big game to date. It doesn't say that he can't win the big game.
Well, the
he
big
just
games. So those are put in front of him. He hasn't won the ones that are put in front of him. So he can't.
Correct.
He can't.
Correct. That doesn't mean he can't win it. So, like I said, as an athlete,
that is
at some point maybe he can overcome.
No,
maybe
it's not.
He won't, maybe he will.
It's not a good point when history repeats itself. No, it's not. I see what you're saying, Joe, but it's not going to happen. He can't. He can't. Have it. So you know, Mahomes can get to the Super Bowl, right? You know that. You're going to see that.
Yep.
You know Jordan's going to
proven it.
You know Jordan's going to win. You know Jordan's going to win clutch wise.
Well, why?
For the most part, Jordan's going to win. We've seen it. We can only go
Jordan
off history.
Who?
Michael. Jordan. I know.
He made a basketball.
Yeah,
reference.
I know Tony Gwynn is going to hit 300.
Well, Jordan didn't win.
He's done it for 100
playing
years.
The bad boys.
He's done it for 100 years. Golf has never done. He's never done it. How can I prove it? He's never done it.
Exactly. Well, I can't prove it either. I just think that I believe that he's got the skills to overcome that.
So
hopefully,
Judge hasn't been great in World Series games,
right,
or playoffs.
Right.
Does that mean he's never going to turn? He's never going to get over that,
right
so
now?
that the Yankees can win a World Series.
Right now, actually, they won in 2009. Last one they won.
But Judge wasn't on that team.
Right.
But everybody's saying Judge is the best, one of the best ball players.
No.
But he hasn't really hit well in the playoffs.
No. He is the best player in baseball right now.
Judge?
Easy.
Better than Ohtani?
Yes. Stats aren't even close. Ohtani has more home runs. Judge plays every day. Judge is a better thrower. Better average is better. Judge has 18. Best player in baseball right now is Aaron Judge. He's 6'7", 270 pounds. He plays the outfield.
But he hasn't showed up in the playoffs.
Right.
But does that mean? Well, I think what the point Joe was
no,
trying
no,
to make.
no.
I think
no.
but the point Joe was trying to make.
No.
Though,
To me, I see what your point is.
Okay.
No, he's not. He can't.
He's never going to get over that hump.
He can't until he does it.
Well, that's that what we were saying
He
with
can't.
Jared Goff. He can't until he.
Right now, Judge has not proven he's a big gamer. He hasn't, and nor has Goff.
Okay,
No.
but does this say Judge will never do that?
Right now, he won't.
Right now.
Because I'm basing off on history, what I see. No, he's not
What do you
that type
mean
of player.
now?
He's
Right
not that
now
type
is
of player.
Today and in the future, he can
Aaron
do
Judge,
it.
Aaron Judge is not that type of player until he goes berserk in clutch moments.
Right. So
He's
that could
regular
happen
season.
this
He's regular
year.
season greatness.
Right.
But
That could happen-
Judge hadn't had the opportunities that Goff has had. He's
Sure
had
he has.
he has less. He
Sure
had
he
less
has.
opportunities. Goff is a repeated offender of throwing 90,000 picks in a game. He does it all the time.
He doesn't do it all the time. He's done it a handful of times. And
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't do it when he plays Carolina. He don't.
It's no use talking to this guy, man.
He don't.
Dude, I'm just gonna come
does
back.
it.
Dude, next time I come
He
back
does
to hey Scott, next time I come back, dude, just buy a couple sets of boxing gloves, set up a ring, and Corey, you and me, we'll just go at it in the ring, all right? You're
He
right.
does it against.
You know,
Now he's going to go
we can just pound
bananas.
on each other.
The third game, I think they play Cleveland. We got to get out of here. He's going to go bananas against Cleveland. Bananas. But as soon as it's Burrow against Goff,
I can't see that, but that's going to be topics for discussion as we go along.
Joe Burrow did not. He did
now
not.
you're going to tell me Burrow's not nice. Come on.
That dude played well all year long, and he was not the reason that they couldn't win games. That's for damn sure.
No,
His
they
receivers-
started off terrible. Then they picked it up and got almost to the playoffs.
Yeah, but his receivers dropped ball after ball after ball all year long, and that's part of the reason that they couldn't win. They dropped balls in key situations.
He was injured early too. He was injured early.
And Joe Burrow is not the reason that they were losing, for sure.
No, Cincinnati didn't have a line. Cincinnati had a line like
But
Chicago.
he also is a one-dimensional quarterback. He's kind of like Goff.
I don't have a
He's got
problem.
it.
I don't have a
He can
problem.
throw and he's smart.
Listen, I don't
And
want my
Goff can
quarter.
throw and he's smart, but he
I don't want. No, he's not. He
doesn't-
I don't want my quarterback running.
yeah,
I'm okay with Goff
yeah,
in the
exactly.
pocket. I'm
That's
okay
a
with him in the
losing-
pocket.
That's
I just
usually
don't
a
want.
losing-
Yeah, I just don't want him throwing 5 picks when it counts. He can sit back
Well,
there all day. You don't run because you're gonna get hurt. And God forbid Jared Goff gets hurt. Your season's over. So
Well,
I
that's
get
true.
it. I get it. Don't run. Just don't throw picks when it counts. That's it.
Well, hey,
That's it.
yeah, you got to overcome that sometime.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
for him,
I
for him to
want
win
I
the
want a
big,
pocket passer. I don't want no
for him to
quarterback.
win the big game, that's what it's going to take for sure. Don't throw picks.
I think that we all agree on that.
We all agree we'll stop doing it.
Well,
That's your
Yeah,
quarterback.
Easier
We
said
all,
than done.
we
in
all
the NFL,
actually,
I guess,
we don't all
right?
agree because you guys say, "Oh, it's the defense." No, it wasn't. It was golf.
Man,
It was golf.
Do I talk like that, Scott?
No, I didn't say
Oh,
you talk like that.
Defense.
I didn't say you talk like that. I said,
Oh, I
"Oh,
thought
I'm
you
saying
were
to myself."
mimicking.
No, I'm saying, "Oh, myself." It's a defense. You guys said it's defense. Well, we all know he can throw. We all know he needs to stop throwing picks. Do you really? Because you keep running him out there because that's all you got, and he's going to throw him again and again. He will.
Okay, dude.
Facts are facts.
You're predicting the future again. Nostradamus.
I predicted it
It's
last.
Nostradamus.
I predicted it last year.
Oh, did you?
I said no Super Bowl. I said watch out for Washington. They'll beat you.
Man, it's really easy to make that call, Corey.
I did.
It's not like did you go to Vegas and put some money down on that?
No.
I mean, you can
No.
probably bet it. You can probably bet on
No.
who won't win the Super
No.
Bowl, but you might have to pay the house a little bit of money on that bet.
I also said, like I just told Scott earlier, I was the only person in the world that said Shaq would win without Kobe. Nobody else said that. Kobe went without Shaq. Nobody else said that.
You have got to be the only person in the world that said that.
I think I was.
I'm sure you are.
I think I was.
Gosh.
I think I was.
Man.
I think I was.
You
didn't say it. And you're an LA guy. You didn't say
Superstar predictor.
Well, you know how Corey likes to go.
So my prediction for the Super Bowl is not the Lions in it.
Yes, okay. That's hard. That's a hard one to say.
Yeah, it's not the Lions in it. And 9-8 is okay. It's not like y'all just been world beaters forever. That 9-8 is below it. No, it's not. That's right where you belong.
Well, 9-8 may not even get you to the playoffs. So,
hey,
so winning record or not, that's not good enough.
Well, we see what you do when you get there.
And I think the Lions are a better team altogether. Than a 98, a 500 ball club.
I mean, they were 15. They were 15, and they had 15 wins with a decimated team.
Yeah.
So
for most
not to
of the
say,
season,
I'm not saying
for
I'm
most
not
of the
saying,
season.
Yeah.
For 2/3 of the season,
Yeah.
their defense was decimated, and yet they still were able to.
Joseph and Brent was out there, weren't they? Wasn't Izzoloni out there, and Brent and Joseph, weren't they all out there? Who got hurt?
No,
the corner that always gets hurt. Davis.
He was hurt half the season.
Anzalone, Carlton Banks.
Anzalone, Banks. You act like these are Hall of Famers that were hurt.
Oh, my
so
God.
what? If you bring them back, they're still an average defense. There's no Hall of Famer on that defense.
Making plays, helping us win.
Right.
That's who they were.
No, your offense won all the games last year. You're right. Your
No, they
offense
didn't.
won. Yeah, they did. Jameer Gibbs won
No,
all
they
your
didn't.
games. Yes, he did.
They did not win all the games.
Take away Gibbs. What you got?
Nothing. We got nothing without Gibbs.
There you go. There you go.
Dude,
Like I
I'm
said,
gonna go.
Ladies and gentlemen, great show, ladies and gentlemen.
I think this is gonna every week we talk about this as we get closer to the season. We're gonna have different opinions on this. Every
I think
week.
there's no doubt.
I mean, right now it's end of May. Preseason doesn't start for another 2.5 months, 2 months maybe. So we're gonna
August.
we have a lot to talk about. There'll be a lot to talk about this year. Yeah. And I know.
What do you think about
I
the
know-
Tigers?
Well, you want to get into it real quick? We'll talk about the Tigers real quick.
We got to it earlier.
I mean, this is going to be an extended long show, which is fine. But listen, I think the Tigers are playing great. Corey says he thinks they're lacking a bat, which I do too. The pitching's what is making them the team that they are. What about you, Joe?
World Series.
As he's wearing the Tiger hat.
He gonna say
Dude,
World Series.
I'm gonna have to go smoke a pack of cigarettes after this and drink a fifth of scotch. I can't. Oh my God! Just to calm down.
Jared's
You
going
know
to have
what?
a lot of highlight clips for us this week.
It's nice to see the Tigers, have resurgence. I think last year, what they did a fire sale near the end of the season and second half of the season and got rid of, they went to Moneyball. They started playing Moneyball, and they went to percentages and picked up guys that, got on base and guys that could hit and guys, that were okay pitchers. And this year, I actually had thought I was going to see a major fall off at the beginning of the season, but they came out swinging bats and pitching. They got a couple good players on their team that are hitting well now. That kid Green is he's a great player. It looks like Torkelson's been swinging the bat well and got some decent pitching. But it's a long season, 162 games. Long season, the '84 Tigers. I think, I don't think it was exactly right, but they were somewhere around 35-5 to start the season.
Yeah,
and they ended the season 35-5 or somewhere around there. So they won 70 games and lost 10 games, total at the beginning and the end of the season. So this is kind of like a start like that. '84. They don't have a whole bunch of superstars like the '84 team did.
They don't have any superstars. They have one superstar.
Well, they got a kid that won the Cy Young last year, so Screwball's is pretty much a superstar.
That's what I'm talking about.
He said that's the only one.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, well, Green's are going to be an all-star again this year, probably.
No, well, that's because
You
you
know?
have to take a position player probably, but he's not. He's not. He's
You
not an
don't
all-star. No,
you don't think
he's
he's an
not.
all-star?
No.
Okay.
He's an all-star for Tigers. I mean, Tigers like they don't have any other players. They're
Well, he did
superstars.
accomplish a feat that's never been done in Major League history, which is kind of interesting. And he did that out here, as a matter of fact, against the Angels. So that was
What did he do? I don't remember what he did.
he's the only player in Major League Baseball history to ever in the ninth inning hit a home run to start the inning and to end the inning
Oh yeah, they were playing the Angels.
in the ninth inning.
Oh, it was a,
So-
it was a softball game.
Well, it was a 1-1 game before he
Against
hit
the
his first dinger. It was a 1-1 game before he hit his first homer.
Listen, I love the manager. I love him, and I love
Yeah?
Scooble. Scooble's unbeatable.
You like
He's
the
gonna-
manager?
Yeah,
So
I
you
love
like
him.
cheaters then, right?
Hey, the guy can manage without the. We were just talking about the Astro stuff.
Yeah.
He can manage. He can flat
Yeah.
out manage. And
Yeah,
like I said,
there's no doubt. Those guys that were cheating, they're just idiots.
I just love. I just think they need an extra bat. I do. I think
a single extra bat.
a big bat because in that lineup, nobody just scares you. Like nobody's like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Like nobody's like in the playoffs. No, we're throwing at everybody. Torkel doesn't scare me. Riley Green doesn't scare me. Torres doesn't scare. There's nobody in there that's gonna. When Ramirez comes up to kill the Tigers, that's scary. They need something like that. I don't know if they'll be able to get it, but they have to have something like that down the stretch with the playoffs because the playoffs is a different animal than what we're seeing now. Kudos, they got insurance. They could probably win the Central. I still think Cleveland is going to come back and win it because I think Cleveland has something going on mental. It's going to be a fight between them. It's going to be a fight between whatever the
it's such a
Tigers are
long
doing.
season.
Whatever the Tigers doing, like Torque said, he's taking analytics out of it. See the ball, hit the ball, run, catch, and throw. That's what they're doing. Ain't no analytics. Ain't no spray it this way, do it this way. Just play baseball, and that's what they're doing, and that's why they're in the position that they're in right now. They just need a superstar besides Scooble. That's just my take on it.
A superstar bat.
Yeah.
I guess it remains to be seen in the next few weeks before the trade deadline if they decide to pick up somebody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll
Do they have cap space to? Can they afford it? Can they afford
sure
a
they
big
do.
name?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm glad they didn't. I was telling Corey earlier on the show. I'm glad they didn't grab and spend all that money on Bregman.
Yeah.
And
On
That
who?
was a good move.
Alex Bregman,
The
for
kid,
the Red-
the kid from the Astros.
he's on the
with the Reds
injured
now.
list now.
Yeah.
It's hit and miss. It's a coin toss. Anytime you sign a big superstar, look at the way Juan Soto's playing with the Mets right now. It's horrible.
I don't like that guy. I
Yeah,
wouldn't want him on the Tigers team. I think he's bad news in the clubhouse.
Yeah, he is a bad news guy in the clubhouse. Yeah, he is. He is for sure. He is for sure. He does what I think, like I was reading somewhere where his family kind of dictates his life, or they told him to go with the Mets. Like the other day,
wow.
he got moved down in the lineup, and he was just standing there taking pitches. Like,
Yeah.
I just think his personality is
Yeah.
is sucky. Another player I don't like much is Manny Machado. They're both really good
I
ball
like
players.
Machado. I like Machado.
You like Machado? I don't care
Machado's-
for Machado.
yeah, he just thugs it out a lot. He's always looking to get into a fight. I like his talent. I like his
Well,
talent.
yeah. Well, same thing with Soto. Soto's
Right.
talent is unquestionable.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great ball player, but it's like what's that other idiot that was out here, Puig, that guy,
Oh, yeah,
very
yeah.
real
Yeah,
talented
Puig was
guy,
great,
but he was
yeah.
just
Yeah,
an
Puig
idiot.
was crazy.
You know?
Yeah, Puig was crazy. And that's
Yeah.
the thing with the Tigers. Like, don't mess it up. Like, just find one more person. I don't think you just need your pitching is intact. Just find one more somebody and come in there and spook you that you got to pitch around and make it easier for somebody else. They just don't have that. Everybody can just go at them.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
so
yeah.
what if Torque hits a 0-man bomb or whatever? But get somebody else that puts a little bit of fear in that, in that pitcher's head, especially in the playoffs. You got to have that in the playoffs. Got to have it in the playoffs. Because Scuba going to do what he's doing. Scuba's unbeatable. He's almost unhittable when he gets really nasty.
Yeah.
And he gets in it. He's filthy.
Yeah, he's got a change up curve, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got everything. And Flaherty is a good number 2.
Well,
and the bullpen is good.
And they would. I think they would have had a way better record than what they have now if they would score some runs for Flaherty.
Yep.
That's been the issue with Flaherty.
Yep.
They just haven't scored the runs enough for them to win. But
well, that was always the issue with Verlander too. You know, he would come out and throw a great game.
Sometimes they wouldn't
and give up 2 or 3 runs. And in 9 innings, pitch a complete game, and the Tigers had 1 hit in the game. You know, it was ridiculous. You know, it seemed to happen every other game.
Yep.
You know, so and then and then Verlander, never really pitched well in the playoffs.
Nope.
You know, Cabrera never hit well really in the playoffs.
No.
You know, so losses.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can hang on and do what they do.
Absolutely.
And get to the playoffs. But we'll see at the trade deadline, man. That's all I got.
Well, Joe, I'm glad you called in this week. I know we've been going back and forth text messages.
Yeah.
You said he had to get Corey, which I think you guys went at it pretty good
No,
today.
listen. This OTAs start. Football season has officially started because OTAs. So this Lions talk, it ain't over.
Right.
It ain't over.
We got a lot to
It's
talk
just starting, man.
Yeah.
We're just getting started.
And I'm going to enjoy these conversations after each and every Lions game coming up this next season.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
And I don't dislike golf. I just said he's a B-. That's it. It's okay. I just like him.
Well,
just had a kid.
Well, you
good
call
family,
someone a
everything.
B-, Corey. That's like saying you don't like him. That guy's never coming over to my house for ribs and burgers. No way.
Right.
He can't come over to my house for no beers.
That's just
He's a B- to a C.
Right. Yes.
right.
Yes. Well,
Until
listen,
next time,
JoJo.
folks.
As you know, we love having you on the show,
Absolutely.
and you're always invited on the show.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I'm always glad to come on when I have a chance to do so. Middle of the week, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not.
Yeah, it's all good.
We're going to be on vacation.
Sundays we know. Sundays we know. We'll have your Sundays.
Yeah.
Sundays.
Season start, yeah.
Sundays, I'm pretty much going to stay home from the golf course. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's your golfing doing? You golfing pretty good?
Yeah, golf is a crazy game, man. It's up and down. I'm an okay golfer, but it's up and down. It's all about the short game, Scott. It's all about the short game.
Yeah, and I haven't been out yet this year.
Yeah.
So
No?
I'm behind the 8 ball. Yeah,
Scott's
behind the 8
decent,
ball.
too.
No, I wouldn't
Jeez.
say that. I wouldn't say that.
I've got probably 30 rounds in already this year.
Well,
Wow.
you live in the lap of luxury out there in
Well,
California.
We
buddy.
do live in sunny California. We can golf all year round.
Yes, sir.
Joe makes the big dollars. They can make that golf, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it the big dollars there, Scott. I'm a public employee, dude. So
Joey. We're gonna have to call him Joey Mill. Joey Millions.
Joey Million. Joey Millie.
No, dude. No, we're gonna stick with EVJ. I'd have
We're
to
gonna
get
stick
a
with
new neon sign.
Neon
for that.
sign. Right.
I like EVJ. It's that's gonna be
It rolls off the tongue better, right?
That one
EVJ.
sticks.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, JoJo. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, and we'll get in touch. And I know you'll be back on the show soon.
All right, guys.
And,
Hey,
thanks, Joe.
thanks a lot.
Hey,
All right.
say hello to the family, dude, and hope
will.
everything
You too.
gets better soon. So
You too.
You as
Thank
well, and I know you're heading off to Europe soon. If I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
So have safe travels out there.
Be
buddy.
safe. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, Joe.
We're gonna try to do that. Have a good time.
Sounds good, buddy. We'll
All
see you
right,
next
boss.
time.
All right, man.
All right,
All
thanks
right,
a lot.
Take care, Court. Take care,
All right, Joe.
Scotty.
EVJ right here on the Roar Live. We've had an extended show tonight.
Well, we did Cohen Bros.
Cohen
so
Bro,
just
we
extended the
kind of,
roar. Yeah.
no Cohen Bro tonight, so it's an extended Roar. But I'm kind of glad Joe came on.
Yeah.
He's been texting me and saying I gotta get with Corey, and I think it went well.
Yeah, and it's just
I
starting.
love hearing
it's,
you two
it's,
go at
It's
it.
just starting. It's just starting
It is.
because now you guys are going to put me on this research. I want to look at all these so-called when they come back players. So I'm on them. I'm on his head.
Well, listen, everybody, we're going to let you go, and we will be back next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. The Roar Live right here on mymichigantv.com and at the Kavana Broadcast Network on YouTube. That's where we're at.
All right.
And, of course, you can catch us on your favorite podcasting platform, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple.
Yep.
Yeah, you can catch us, the Cohen Bro Opinion Show and the Roar Live, all in one spot.
For sure.
So for Jared in the back, giving
Shout out
us
to Jared.
giving us the updates, we appreciate that.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time, right
All
here
right.
on the Roar Live.
Stay
See
safe.
you, everybody.